Starting in 5, 4, 3.
Yummy like a gummy bear.
It's the internet. You're busy. Let's do this for October 12th, 2023 for the next hour or so. Let me help you sort through the world of gaming on Game Mess Mornings Live with me, Jeff Grubb. Today, Nintendo renews trademark for one of its weirdest games. Disney doesn't know what to do about its gaming future, and PS5 finally gets a long-promised feature. But first, please join me in welcoming today's co-host of Game Mess Mornings. It's Jan Ochoa, everybody. Jan, how are you doing?
I'm doing great. It is finally actually entering beanie season.
Ooh, I love to hear it.
So now when I wear a beanie and go outside, people do not stare at me for being odd.
Yeah.
They're like, why? Your head has got to be sweating, dog. I'm like, not today. Not today.
It's like the overlap. It's like it's always beanie life for Jan, but beanie season is something different, right?
Yes. When it's like socially acceptable. I'm not often socially acceptable.
Of course not.
Now in the autumnal
in the
seasons.
Autumnal season, yes, absolutely. Jan, what happened while I was gone?
Hey, it turns out that RoboCop Rogue City demo or game might be good.
That looks shit hot, but I don't care about that. What I care about is happy birthday, fucko. How's it going?
Everything hurts, Grubb. Everything hurts.
Well, listen, I would say I'm not happy to hear that, but the truth is, no, get old like the rest of us, Jan. Let it take you. Let it take you.
I see Sean and Nikki on the other side of the hill now, and like as the days go by, I see them less and less.
Yep.
Like Sean,
because you start tumbling down the hill and your hip breaks, and then it's like they're just getting. I mean, they'll catch up eventually, but for now.
And then I'm like, my TikTok algorithm is like trying to fix chronic pains now. It's like, what is happening?
Yeah, mine just started that way, so I thought that was for everybody, but I learned quickly. No, that's not the case. No, but yeah, I was out for a little bit. We didn't have a game this morning, so if you were wondering where it was and you were checking your feed, well, we're back, and we're going to get back in the normal schedule and all that stuff.
You should have paid attention when Grubb said he'd take a break.
Yes, you should have paid attention to that. But what happened? What any big news stand out? Because honestly, I did pay some attention, but mostly I went one ear and out the other.
Ding dong, the witch is dead. Riccatello's stepped down, but he got a golden parachute, so he's
of course
he didn't face or learn anything.
I mean, honestly, from the outside looking in, it looks like he did exactly what he was supposed to do for the people whose money he was taking care of. He was supposed to merge with Iron Source, that weird company that is mostly malware, and then kind of transform into a service thing that's going to try to nickel and dime every single one of its customers and then leave. And he got a lot of money for doing so. So cool. The way things work is very cool, it seems like, Jan.
Yeah. There's a PS5 Slim, and I feel weird saying Slim because it's just like fractionally smaller.
Yeah. I think so. The original PS5 is like 15 and a half inches or something like that. This one is 14 inches tall. So we're losing an inch and a half up top. And I guess it is relative. I mean, it's a little bit skinnier, but it doesn't look that much skinnier. I still think it's ugly in a very cool, good way. I know that, one thing I think I'm very proud of Mike Minotti for sticking to his guns about, he just thinks it looks good and he's not going to step down from that position. I'm more of a coward. I think it's ugly, but I like that it's ugly. Everyone else just continues to hate the PS5 and the way it looks. And that's fine. I'm glad they didn't change it up too much. I'm like, we don't need a whole new design language. Stick with the PS5 for now.
I would have just liked something dramatically smaller. Like, I don't have a Series S or an Xbox Series S. But I like the look of it. It's very clean. It's a very small box. I like the weird, stupid speaker-looking thing on the front. That's like probably has
like that too.
Functional purpose.
It's a vent. It's a vent, like most things.
It's a vent.
Most things are vents.
Not a cup holder. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, it can be both. It's a coaster. You know what I did? I bought an Xbox 360e. You remember that thing?
Wait, this is different from the arcade edition?
Yeah, this is like on the whole opposite end. Like the arcade edition was early. The E was like the last slim revision of the Xbox 360. I was told for Blight Club reasons, I'm going to need an Xbox 360. So I got off the company card and I went on eBay and I bought an Xbox 360e. And it's actually, I had one for like a hot minute. Microsoft sent me one as like the Xbox One was coming out. And I'm like, I don't need this thing. So I kind of like looked at it and then I gave it to a friend. So I haven't had one really at all. And I'm like, oh, this is kind of interesting. I like the way it looks. It's a slick looking system. It's not Elite. They just called it the E, like not even like Series E. I think it was just like the E edition or something like that. I don't know.
Right. Because when you said E, I thought Elite, but then you would have just said Elite.
I would have said Elite. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's the little E.
I low key missed the Xbox 360.
Yeah. I was actually
hasn't
getting
gone
this
anywhere.
I know. I'm kind of with you. Yeah.
I
think
what a vibe.
Yes, it was a good. Did you see that I think it's a Lego set. Maybe it's not a Lego set, but it's a block building set for an Xbox 360 design that everyone's getting right now. And I'm like, that does look pretty cool. I kind of would enjoy building that.
Is that the thing that Witta and
yes, Mega Blocks? Yes, that's right.
Okay, cool.
That might be the key. Instead of like, I'm gonna dig out an Xbox 360 because I miss its vibe. I think getting the Mega Blocks version of that is probably the right way to go.
God, I didn't think about the market for like, because I'm not like a collector guy by any means.
Sure, same.
But other than popcorn buckets, but that's out of my control. But building like Mega Blocks or Lego replicas of older consoles, I think would be up my alley in a major way.
Yeah, I wish I would have got the NES one, even the Atari one. The Atari 2600 one came out a little bit ago. I thought about that from Lego. But the NES one definitely looked very cool. I wish I would have got that. But yeah, replica versions of that in block form, that's probably where my my zone is at. Because I was, I got this 360, and I'm like, it's cool, it's neat, I'm glad. But I'm mostly glad because I know it's going to have an HDMI port, so I don't have to go down the RetroTink thing where I'm like, man, I always want to get one of those RetroTink 5Xs. I think there's a new RetroTink 4K, and for people who are wondering what the fuck I'm talking about, this site's had a history with open source scan converters, right? It's like it's in that family of product, but these ones are like very simple, very good, really low latency, and the 4K one apparently just is amazing. But I think it's very expensive, and if I was like, I got an older system and I need to hook that up to the capture card, I'm gonna have to get a RetroTink. I might as well get the best one, and I've been living my life trying to avoid this, Jan. I don't want to go down that route because of money. I like having money and I dislike not having money, but I would spend it on this stuff if I had like even a little bit of an excuse. And Dan keeps nudging me. He's nudging me in that direction constantly. I'm like, yeah, that'd be cool. I'm like, please don't do this to me, man. I can't go down that road.
This sounds like we need to conduct an actual heist to give all of us just a little bit of, as my partner calls it, fuck you money.
Yeah, that's what we need. We need the fuck you heist. Absolutely.
Yeah. Meet the fuckos.
Meet the fuckos.
Oh, that's what you missed yesterday.
I did. Every day I go to meetthefuckos.com. Finally, it's going to the right website.
Yeah. For folks that missed it, definitely watched the Be Light Club yesterday. A lot of fun.
Yes.
RoboCop Rogue City might actually be a good game, but we've rebranded as Meet the Fuckos.
But listen, I'm 100% on board with that. That game also does look really fun. I was like half listening, kind of doing stuff with the kids in the car while it was happening, making sure they weren't hearing all the terrible things you guys were saying. But I missed. What is the release date for that game? Is that coming out this calendar year?
So I think originally it was set for Halloween. I think they moved it to either November 2nd or November 7th. So it is still this year.
Okay. Wow. All right. November 2nd is what Grizzytron in chat is saying. I am going to play that game. I'm probably going to play that demo because it just looks like a ton of fun. I was very excited about it. It seems
very substantial.
Yeah.
It's a big ass download too.
You guys were talking about B games. Dead Island 2. I don't know if that one got mentioned. Dead Island 2.
Oh, you know what? I got to add that to that document now.
And then, go ahead.
I don't want to spoil the pooch here or give people too far of a peek behind the curtain for what's happening for Game of the Year. But be excited.
Yes.
Be excited. Be excited.
Did you guys have a meeting? I don't even know what's going on for Game of the Year. So
we did have a meeting, and let's just say the best planner in the world is once again lending her expertise.
Oh, that's good news. That's very good news.
A certain one, Jeff FOMO Alar, had a lot of these things of like, you guys worried? You guys think we should do this or that? Blah, blah, blah. And then I'm just looking at him like, nah, Doc, we got her. We're good.
That's what I like to hear. Absolutely. Looking forward to all of that. First, though, let's do this. Let's do this show and explain what we do here. Most weekdays, I, Jeff Grubb, will help piece your gaming life back together. That includes breaking news and maybe even some of our own original reporting. For all these topics, I'll get the input of a bona fide expert who will make me look smart. If you are watching live on Twitch, welcome. You can always listen to the show later on podcast feeds by searching for Game Mess Mornings or find the RSS on giantbomb.com. You can also catch the show later with chapters and timestamps on YouTube. Hello, YouTube. All right, we have a lot to get into, so let's start with Nintendo renews trademark for Tomodachi Life, hints at potential return. Maybe, we'll see. This is from My Nintendo News. In a recent development, Nintendo has renewed the trademark for the beloved title Tomodachi Life in Japan. This renewal was spotted on the Chise Watch database on October 10th, 2023. For fans of the series, this news is certainly intriguing as it suggests the possibility of a return for the quirky social simulation game. Originally known as Tomodachi Collection New Life in Japan, Tomodachi Life is celebrated for its zany interactions between user-created Mii characters. While the use of Mii characters has diminished in Nintendo's recent titles, some, like Nintendo Switch Sports, still incorporate these beloved avatars. Beloved? I don't know. Tomodachi Life made its debut on Nintendo 3DS in April 2013 in Japan, followed by a release in 2014 internationally. It is part of Nintendo's Tomodachi Collection game series and was the first title from the series to be launched outside of Japan. The original Tomodachi Collection released exclusively in Japan in 2009 for the Nintendo DS. Jan, I'm a big Tomodachi Life fan. I really enjoyed my time with this, how I should put it. It is the kind of thing where if you had a bunch of Mii's like that you already created, like I had all the Ghostbusters and all the cast of Seinfeld and Tommy Wiseau, and then of course all my friends and family, and I would just throw them all in the game together, and then the game creates these fun situations between all these characters where suddenly Elaine is dating Tommy Wiseau, and it's oh my god, what's going to happen here? And they have little cute digitized voices, and then they go and they perform dances. I remember like I did one dance about or one song where my character like Jeff was singing about how he hated pants, and it was like I'm like, yeah, this is me, this is great stuff.
True to life.
I have always wondered, like, is this something that Nintendo would revisit? It seems like over the course of enough time, they revisit everything. I think that now is a good time for this because they could do some fun stuff with the new era of AI voices and things like that. There's like a lot of possibility there, but I don't know if Nintendo would even dip its toe into that stuff, or if it would still kind of just like do things its own way, where it's like, oh no, it's kind of the same digitized voices that we've had for 10, 12 years now.
Yeah, it's funny when I told a younger family member that I have this job in the video game industry, or games media at least. He asked me, "Have you heard anything about Tomodachi Life?"
Really? That's good to hear.
You're younger than me. Like, why do you know what this is?
Is some YouTuber playing it or something? That's got to be what happened there, right?
I wonder if it's a YouTuber, or maybe the kids got really into pirating Nintendo DS games.
That's possible too. That would rule, actually. Piracy's a good thing, Nintendo. Back off.
I think the closest thing of my interactions with Tomodachi Life is the iOS game. I think it was Miitomo.
Yes, Miitomo is Miitomo's related. Yes, yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
That's where like you would have the Mii's, and there was like a social network, but it was like a real social network. And I had fun with Miitomo even, but it was like, oh, that's kind of just barely scratching the itch of what Tomodachi Life scratched. So I hope they kind of carry that forward into something more. And it's like, no, Miitomo just shut down instead. That's actually what happened there. Apparently, Tomodachi Life is big on TikTok. That's surprising, but very cool to hear.
Oh, I could see why, I guess. That's like a easier... I feel weird for saying retro game, but like
well,
older game.
It's older, yeah.
To get going, yeah.
It's the kind of... Go ahead.
I think I know it is difficult to have some type of social space on any type of console because you cannot keep the shitheads away from it all the time.
Yeah.
But something like Tomodachi Life sounds very appealing, especially if you're just making a bunch of me's based off of friends or celebrities or family members or whatever. And I don't know if it ever interacted in a similar way as like Street Pass, but that sounds really cool.
It had some stuff going on there. Yeah. I think you could you could like get other people's me's through Street Pass. I think that sounds right. Yeah. I mean, it is the kind of thing where, play can take all kinds of forms. And obviously most of the time it's like, hey, here's a challenge or here is a multiplayer competitive thing. And obviously there's a lot of games that have creative sides to them and or just traditional, let's play house like The Sims. But I think that even like all of those don't necessarily do what Tomodachi Life was doing, where it's like we are going to just make a very easy character creator so you can have this avatar that represents either this famous person or your friend, and then just kind of like have this algorithm that causes them to interact in all these funny ways. And it's about those interactions instead of let's build up our life like in The Sims. It's like, hey, the challenge is, hey, can you get a job and maintain your family and keep everyone healthy and happy? None of that stuff is in Tomodachi Life. It is all about what are the weird things that are going to happen when these characters start mixing together. And and then you come out and you're like, oh man, here's a story and here's something that you probably can put on TikTok in a really interesting way that I think that makes sense once I start hearing like, oh, that's how that's working right now.
Should we revisit Tomodachi Life?
I would like that. Yeah. I mean, I think it's at least worth like looking in on, but I mean, it's almost possible. Like maybe a whole series of that could be very cool.
Like in this, like we just do the 30-minute check-in on like our little dudes.
Yeah.
We make everyone like friends of the site and just see what's happening.
I like it.
Like, oh no, Bailey has introduced communism to the group.
Yeah, and that's the kind of stuff that can happen there. So yeah, I would really like that. And as for them returning to this franchise, listen, it's nothing but a good thing if that's your hope that they are renewing the trademark. But renewing the trademark does not mean 100% or even 50% that they are going back to this game anytime soon. This is the normal thing that lawyers at a company do. They have their list of things that they go through, and this is irrespective of what is happening with the development teams. They're like, oh, okay, well, we have Tomodachi Life. Let's look at the date. Let's just renew that. They're just doing their job. So I would not get my hopes up too much. And yet, I hope they do this. I hope they bring back Tomodachi Life, and soon. I think that would be a fun one to launch a Switch 2 with. Don't have super high expectations for it, but have it there for people who want something that is akin to an Animal Crossing, while the next Animal Crossing probably takes a little bit longer to come back around, or they wait, or they wait until there's more systems in the world before they launch the next Animal Crossing, something along those lines.
Grub, remind me, Tomodachi Collection that came out on the Nintendo DS?
Yes, in Japan only. Yes.
Oh, in Japan only. Okay, never mind. Because I feel like I had a pretty good grasp on virtually everything that came out on the Nintendo DS, but if this was a Japan only thing, maybe that's why.
That's certainly one. I think I had heard of it like offhand, maybe on a podcast back then from someone who was like really tapped in, probably Jeremy Parrish or something talking about it. And being like, probably Jeremy Parrish. And I'm like, what is this? And then finally when it's like, oh no, this is coming around. By that point I had heard a lot more about it, and I hopped on board immediately and had a really great time with it. I still have it. I should probably just check in and see what's going on with my Tomodachis. Let's see what Dan Aykroyd is up to. That's what I want to know.
Oh God, yeah. Everyone picks one celebrity that we introduce into the world.
And it's so you can make it yourself, but they're the QR codes for all these celebrities are on Google. So you just go on there, you scan it with the little 3DS camera, and you can import it super easy. And it's like, oh man, this is So I spent a whole day just putting like 50 celebrities into the game, and it's a ton. It's an apartment complex they live in, so it's almost like a sitcom setup. I adore that game, and I hope it has a good chance of coming back. We'll see. I think Nintendo like saw such a huge growth in Animal Crossing. I hope they don't expect that for Tomodachi Life, but I think Tomodachi Life could have a similar trajectory, just not quite as big, right? The amplitude won't be as big, but the velocity could be similar, right?
Yeah, especially if they lean into the social aspects or like the mild multiplayer components enough. And I think they also need to factor in that Animal Crossing New Horizons growth was lightning in a bottle because it just timed out with the beginning of the pandemic.
Yes.
And that is just not gonna blow up like that again. But hey, everyone's social batteries are drained and a lot of people don't want to hang out anymore. Maybe people just want to hang out with little me's of their friends.
Mm-hmm. That's right.
That kind of sound like
something.
Hey, that actually sounds good sometimes.
That's something about the way you said that reminds me like Ali G. People no longer want to hang out with their friends. Just something like that. That's we got to look into it. Everybody, scientists need to find what's going on.
You could put in your bros before they start pissing you off.
There you go. Exactly.
It's like, oh, this is my 2014 version of my friend.
Meet the Tomofuckos. I don't know. There's something there. Fuckodachi? I don't know.
Fuckodachi.
Disney CEO pushed to consider bolder transformation in gaming, according to a report. This comes from George Yang at GameSpot. Disney executives reportedly wanted to become a gaming giant and considered acquiring Electronic Arts. However, Disney CEO Bob Iger isn't committed to the idea. According to Bloomberg, Iger's deputies are pushing him to consider a bolder transformation of Disney from gaming licensee to gaming giant through, say, an acquisition of Electronic Arts. But as with everything else, he's been non-committal. Disney was in the game publishing business until 2016 when it closed Avalanche Software and then proceeded to license out its properties to other developers. In recent years, Disney licensed games including Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order and Jedi Survivor, as well as Return to Monkey Island. We know what the business model is now. Everyone can look and see they licensed it out. That's, John Drake's job is go find people to work with who aren't owned by Disney out in the world that can make these games. This is something that caught Disney off guard, right, Jan? Again, this is a story everyone knows. Disney was doing great. The parks were growing. The movies were growing. MCU dominated the world. The animated films were doing great, doing better than ever in a lot of ways. And then the pandemic came along, and all the stuff that Disney was good at was super duper affected by what the pandemic was. And then Disney looked around, and all the companies that kept doing great were video game companies that could provide similar kinds of entertainment, but in the safety of the home. And Disney was like, hey, we have an exposure here. This is a vulnerability that we have that we need to answer. And you could tell, like, okay, we're going to ramp up licensing of our IP. But it always felt like there was like, maybe they should be doing a lot more. And it sounds like internally they are considering that. Do you think the answer is as simple as acquiring an EA? Because I don't know.
It seems drastically more complicated than that.
I agree.
I don't think buying a publishing arm, let alone buying EA, is going to solve anything or get Disney into that space. I think just continue to let John Drake cook, because John is doing amazing shit over there, and that's not just because we're friends with John Drake. John Drake is legitimately doing a fantastic job.
Agreed. I'm not friends with that guy. Screw that guy. He won't make what's the game Mike's always mad about. Yeah. Keep going though.
Quack shot.
Yeah, quack shot. There you go.
And it's weird because I feel like Disney from like the top level moves so slowly, like every other corporation, that they're not going to properly make the adjustments or be as fluid as they should be versus licensing the shit out of their games.
Yes.
I feel like there's a different world where, Disney Illusion Island.
Yes, Disney Illusion Island is the name of the game that just came out. Like? Yes.
Oh, Illusion Island. Sorry, yeah. Illusion Island could be a huge platformer, or like the Disney farming game that I was obsessed with, that is escaping me. Thank God it's escaping my brain. That could have blown up to the same level as Animal Crossing. I know that it was like on the tail end of like the major part of the pandemic when we were all still inside. But that's a farming game that could appeal to a huge audience.
Yeah.
Dreamlight Valley. Why did everyone tell me that? But I don't think buying a publishing arm is going to help them by any means, because we did see the closure of Avalanche Studios a couple of years ago.
Well, I think you're right.
Yeah. Also, Bob Iger is a dumbass.
Yeah, he seems like. His whole victory lap of retiring was like, I started up Disney Plus and I acquired Fox. aren't I awesome? And it's like, well, yeah, you spent a lot of money, homie. What's next? And he's like, well, that's the other Bob's problem. And then, listen, obviously Bob Chapek, I know, just saying that word brings pain to people's ears. They miss him so much. The children love Bob Chapek. I'll always say that because it's true. But Bob Iger's back, and we're back to like, what's next, Bob Iger? And he continues not to, and like, we say that. None of these companies know what's next. A lot of these companies kind of across the board are in a situation where they have maximized the return on investment in all the stuff that they've been building over the last several years, and the pandemic kind of put that stuff in stark relief. And they came out of the pandemic being like, this is what works, and we're going to double down on that. And, you know, you can look at companies like EA, like Activision, where it's like they just keep honing in on the things that have worked. And then when it comes down to, okay, all right, now what's your path for growth? The thing that we keep wanting from you. None of these companies have an answer. So Bob Iger's not like alone out there on an island with this stuff, but he is certainly not leading them with some vision. And the non-committal thing here, I bet he doesn't know what to do here. I also think you're right, though, when you talk about closing Avalanche and God, what was not Vivendi? They've had multiple chances where they like, hey, we are going to become a gaming company and we are going to invest in this stuff. And what was the driving game? Not Blur, but like Second City. I'm sorry.
Ooh, right.
Sorry, my brain is so bad right now. But yeah, they have tried to do this before, and it's like it always felt like a split second. Thank you, everybody. It always felt like a false start, or they didn't quite know how to allocate the resources to the things that were going to be big bangs. And now they are back being just licensees because that's the safe thing to do. And unless they have a strong vision about what to do with like a big acquisition like EA or with starting up their own gaming arm, it probably is the right thing to not have a committed purpose to this and instead kind of stand back and be like, let's let John Drake cook, because otherwise we're going to be pot committed on this massive investment and this massive initiative into gaming that we don't fully understand what we're going to do with it. So, because I mean, when you buy EA, what do you got? You're going to obviously, there's synergy there between ESPN and the sports games. Okay, you're going to do that. Obviously, you're going to slap that together. Does that really add value to one or the other? Maybe a little bit, not a ton. There's already, that audience is already sort of synergistic in a way. And it's like, yeah, okay, now that you own all of that, sure, you're going to make a little bit more money. But beyond that, I don't see any obvious answers. Like,
no.
EA is
like,
already struggling to make Star Wars games.
Yeah. But even then, Grub, there's not a lot of synergy, and you know, we know that I'm a borderline Disney adult here, but there isn't a lot of synergy with the existing video game products or any video game facing stuff at all with any of the parks,
right?
Like Kingdom Hearts, for as unfortunate it is for a lot of people to admit, is huge. The fandom is huge.
Yes.
And there isn't a lot of that representation of that IP in the parks other than a pin and maybe like a photo op that they roll out on occasion. But even stuff like the older games, right? Like any of the Sega Genesis stuff. I know that that's technically old, but a lot of that you don't see or will ever see, or in my experience, have ever seen at the parks. Like,
right.
Cal Kestis could easily have like a bunch of merch at any of the Disney parks where there's Star Wars. Absolutely nothing. You know, you only see the Disney Plus shows. You only see Mando. You only see Ahsoka. Maybe some stuff from Andor, but nothing from the Star Wars video games, as far as I know from what I've seen. Like, yeah, if they were willing to better incorporate their video game stuff, then let's go do it. But I don't have the confidence that they are willing to do that. It's like even with Lorcana could have easily been selling booster packs at the park, and you would get so many perverts, myself included, there lining up for booster boxes, booster packs, but absolutely nothing.
Yeah, I do. Like, that reminds me of like whenever I hear about what it's like to work with Disney on Star Wars or Marvel or whatever, it is like, oh no, that's super complicated and it's a headache, and the amount of hoops you have to jump through to say, we want this suit as a bonus thing in a video game. It's like, yeah, that is a lot of work to make that happen. And I suppose that if Disney owned EA outright, some of those problems would be solved, and it would be a little bit more streamlined to go from, I have a creative vision for this game. What are the obstacles to execute on that? What's like, well, now you could pretty much make the call because you are Disney. It's not going to be quite that simple, but it'll be a lot more streamlined. I don't know if that is the kind of thing that moves Bob Iger to be like, well, now that obviously this is worth it. I mean, I don't think that even registers really. He's like, that's a creative's problem. That's not my problem. I don't care. And it comes back to what is the trajectory forward for getting bigger and bigger. Obviously, I think having a bigger gaming initiative would help, create a moat around them to protect them from future exposure if another pandemic happens or something along those lines, or if the parks begin to wane for whatever reason. It's like, well, we can pivot over to video games. But I don't think that means you rush into buying EA because I just don't. If it's not EA, all of the other big publishers are in a similar position, I think, in terms of, I guess maybe short of Nintendo, but that's not some natural fit either. For one thing, Nintendo's never going to sell to you. So, but even if it would, it's like they already have their own Disney-like roster of characters. Is it going to make sense to begin mixing them together? I think, and if you do that enough for long enough, might feel natural. But for now, it feels very unnatural to be like, here's Mario and Mickey Mouse hanging out. It's like, what? No. So it's like, there's no obvious solution out there for a turnkey of like, we are going to buy this thing, and this is the answer to the problems of Disney and video games. But I still think that there is a desire there because they are right. They do need more going on with video games. I just don't know what that actually ends up looking like.
Yeah, I still think licensing is the way to go with Disney, at least. Like, hey, get like a really hot indie studio and have them do something fun with not even your A tier of characters, maybe go down to like your C tier stuff. So like get a Rescue Rangers game, right?
Yeah.
Anything could get going. Also, just embrace their existing video game stuff. I know that there was a resurgence of Oswald, the character, because of Epic Mickey, but other than that, like, haven't really done much with Oswald. This Oogie Boogie Bash, which is like the new thing, like it's a trick or treat thing ostensibly at Disneyland, and it has like a lot of character meetups with villains throughout the park, right? Have Sephiroth there.
Yep. And I think that's one of the reasons EA doesn't work as well. Like, the Kingdom Hearts is so huge, and that's Square, and you bring in EA. Does that make sense? Can you keep that going? I don't know. It's tough. I got a question. When you were at Disney, did you see any Steamboat Willie?
Oh, other than maybe like a set of ears or like something that might have looked like a captain's hat. No.
Yeah, I always wonder. So like that's the thing that's in the public domain now, and I'm like, I wonder. I know they've been doing a little bit more with Steamboat Willie in shorts and stuff recently, and that felt like, we're gonna maybe update that so we do have some legal standing in case we ever need it. But mostly we know that's in the public domain. So yeah, I this is like maybe a little bit off topic. I wish Disney would be like, let's make something that sort of embraces the things that are going in the public domain and have like all of our characters like kind of not just say goodbye, but like say good journey to Steamboat Willie and be like, okay, now you belong to everybody, but you're still a part of us and we're still going to do things with you, but other people are going to do things too. And I don't know. I think that'd be cool if they could embrace that, but it's a giant corporation, so they're never, ever going to fucking do that.
Also, screw Bob Iger, because when he came back as Disney CEO, he was like, oh gosh, we're charging too much for the parks, and we're charging too much for the annual passes. We're not going to do it. He doesn't sound like this.
There's no way to know.
And now they announced yesterday, like, hey, you know what? We're going to increase the admission prices and the annual passes. We're going to just raise the prices across the board. Oh, sorry.
Yep. That's when he said that, he's like, we're charging too much. I'm like, everybody else in the world is raising prices of everything for just every product you can imagine. Are you serious right now? I'm like, that's pretty cool. Of course he wasn't. Of course he wasn't. And like, he actually looked at the numbers and be like, we could be charging more. Actually, we should be doing that. I'm also at a point where capitalism has fucking ruined me, Jan. I'm like, yeah, charge more so there's fewer people in places, so I don't have to wait in such long lines. You go to anything these days, and it's just everything is completely jam packed. And it's like, oh man, what do we do about this? And the answer is, if it was more expensive, fewer people would do it. I'm like, that doesn't feel great, but it seems to be the only answer to anything. Oh well. All right, you know what? We're going to take a quick break. When we get back, we have a lot more news, including Peach looking a little bit different on the cover of her new game, a new PlayStation 5 feature, and a lot more. We'll discuss all of it after we get back following this. We're back. We're back with you. You don't have to fear anymore. I'm here. So is Jan Ochoa. Jan, Nintendo has slightly updated Peach's look in the new Princess Peach Showtime key art. Have you seen this? Have you taken a look at this? I'll see if I can bring this up for everybody without playing music in your ear really, really loud.
Okay.
Let's do this. So basically what happened here, this comes from my Nintendo news. Nintendo has made the decision to update the design of Princess Peach in her upcoming 2D platforming extravaganza, Princess Peach Showtime. The design change was noticed by an attentive Twitter user, and it's applicable to both the Western and Japanese versions of Princess Peach Showtime. So I'm going to try to describe this for audio listeners, but video listeners can kind of look at these two images side by side. And the central Peach sort of jumping out at the camera, her face has changed. And I think the obvious thing to say here is the original one looks like more like the original Peach. The new one looks more like the movie Peach, right?
Yeah, there's like some lighting changes as well going on.
Yes, there's more contouring of the face. Yes.
Yeah, a little bit more tood. Yeah, you're right. The design is eking closer to the movie Peach,
and I think it's that's right. I mean, that makes a lot of sense. Like the movie was very successful. I think if you are trying to establish Princess Peach as a Barbie-like character of like, hey, here is our character that can appeal to girls, and she is capable and possible of doing anything. The movie Peach was expressive, does have emotions deeper than which is all Princess Peach originally was for a very long time. It's just a slight giggle and a little bit confused. And whatever, that's fine in a lot of ways. But if you are trying to branch her out and to be like, oh, she is capable of doing all these other things, maybe you need a little bit more. The movie already established a version of that, so why not go closer to that? And you can kind of see what that looks like a little bit in here, let's take a little bit closer. If you see, this is the original artwork. Again, for audio listeners, I'll describe it. All of her facial expressions in the background characters, where she's a baker, a pirate, or a swords fighter, and a kung fu martial artist, pretty similar to the basic Peach face. In the new one, they changed the kung fu one to look more determined. People are saying she looks angrier. Jan, I think she looks more determined. I don't think because a woman furrows her eyebrows doesn't mean she's angry. It means she's trying to do something, and I think she looks more determined here. And I think I approve of this. What do you think?
Yeah, 100%. I'm down with it. That is a similar facial expression I'd have if I was throwing like a flaming a kick, as Peach is.
Yes.
Yeah. Let women have emotions.
Yes, exactly.
And let us not judge them on having emotions. Please.
Yeah. I get the reason you jump to like, oh, she's got angry eyebrows now, because this is something that they've done to Kirby a lot, where Kirby looks really happy in all his box art, and then in the US box art, they give him slanted eyebrows, which is exactly what Peach has here, to make him look angry and fierce. This is a worldwide change first of all, and then second, I don't think she looks angry. She just looks like she's doing something that requires effort, and having that reflected in the character makes her look more expressive, makes her feel more relatable, I think, to kids coming to this and being like, I want a character that looks alive and like she has an interior life. I think Princess Peach is kind of getting closer to that now. Yeah.
Hey, Nintendo, money on the table. Monetize them.
Yep. Yes. Yeah. Monetize those kids. I continue to be pretty excited about Princess Peach Showtime. I think it looks like a lot of fun coming out next year. Yeah.
I hope it's very successful, and then it creates a massive spin-off series.
Same. Yeah. I think Peach standing alongside Mario, kind of having her own video game universe, I think that would be nothing but a good thing. And I think this looks like a pretty good start at that. And I hope it's not just some one-off experiment that they abandon pretty quickly.
Hear me out here, Grub.
Please.
You know, we have Paper Mario, and we have Mario and Luigi, whatever their other RPG series is called.
Sure.
I forget. Princess Toadstool Tactics.
Okay, well that sounds incredible. Yeah. Is it Princess Peach and then like an army of Toads, or could she bring in like some of her friend characters? She gets a whole new cast of characters, like when the WarioWare games came out.
Yeah. And like, you know, we have like the principal Toad, not like a principal in school Toad, but like main Toad.
Toad Prime, yeah.
Toad Prime, exactly. Oh man,
I'm down.
Hey, Nintendo, cut the check.
Cut the check. God, Nintendo, Jesus. PlayStation 5 cloud streaming launches this month. This is from Tom the Machine Ivan at VGC. Sony Interactive Entertainment has announced plans to launch cloud streaming for PlayStation 5 this month. The feature, which will be available for PlayStation Plus premium members, will receive a staggered rollout. Sony is targeting an October 17th launch for Japan, October 23rd launch for Europe, and October 30th launch for North America. Select PS5 games will be available for streaming. This is a quote from Hideaki Nishino. We're planning to have hundreds of PS5 titles to support this new benefit. Supported titles will include game catalog offerings like Marvel's Spider-Man Miles Morales, Horizon Forbidden West, Ghost of Tsushima, Mortal Kombat 11, and Saints Row 4. Some PS5 digital titles that players own will be available for streaming too, including Resident Evil 4, Dead Island 2, Genshin Impact, Fall Guys, and Fortnite. Jan, I'm glad to have this option at all times. I don't know if I'm ever going to use it, and yet I'm still like relieved when it's there. I'm like, okay, if I need to like just play a game real quick or check on something, not having to download it, even with a pretty fast download connection, is a relief, because I don't always want to clean out the fridge, and I do have I have a 4 terabyte drive in my PS5, but still, like downloading something is a barrier. So like being like, oh, that new game launched on PS5, I just want to check on it. Having the option to play cloud streaming is nice for me, even if it's like something that I'm not really, I haven't actively done that, I don't think, ever, really, Jan. I don't know. How do you feel about this?
I feel exactly the same boat, where there are times where I don't want to play Tetris with my storage, and think about like, oh, I'm eventually going to play this game. I don't want to delete it. But if I could stream it or stream a game that I'm curious about, that seems like a big win for the consumer. But this being like a feature that I'm constantly going to be using, I don't see it being something I'm going to integrate into my day-to-day gaming life.
Yes, same. I think this also only works on PS5 at the moment, and I don't think there's any promise of it to expand beyond that. But streaming PS5 games to a phone or to a PC or to a TV, that also sounds appealing in select circumstances. I think I got NHL for the PS5. It's a game that's not on PC, but if I could stream that over the cloud to my Roger Ally, I would love that. That's still not an option. So I'd be streaming, I'd still be doing what has always been possible, to stream the game from my local PS5 to my Roger Ally that way. That works, but I think it doesn't work quite as well as streaming from the cloud in most circumstances for me personally, because something's always wrong with my internet. So I hope they get to that point, but Sony always seems hesitant about making that step. And maybe it's based on not a lot of people use that, and it costs a lot of money to maintain that stuff. So we're not going to do that. But I would like that even more. But still, having this option on the PS5 it's nice to have. It's a nice to have.
Yeah. I like having options.
Exactly. Options are cool, even if most of the time they just cause me to be like, what am I going to do? I have too many options.
Don't worry, I'll still be upset when they eventually remove it.
Oh, of course. Yes, absolutely. I'm still trying to install Linux on my PS4. Okay. Shinji Mikami teases return to work after non-compete clause seemingly ends. This is from Tom the Machine Ivan from VGC, who is just going to be a machine this whole episode, everybody. Shinji Mikami appears ready to return to game development following the expiration of a non-compete clause. Now that I've broken the spell of non-competition on myself, I guess I should get to work, he tweeted on Thursday. It was confirmed in February that Mikami was leaving Tango Gameworks, the studio behind The Evil Within, Ghostwire Tokyo, and Hi-Fi Rush, which he founded in 2010 before selling it to Bethesda. Mikami is best known for his time at Capcom, where he directed the first Resident Evil, its 2002 GameCube remake, and Resident Evil 4, among other titles. Just a hell of a resume right there. He also directed Vanquish for Platinum Games and produced Shadows of the Damned for Grasshopper Manufacture. In 2020, Mikami stated that he wanted to direct one more video game project before he retires, adding that he had no shortage of ideas and they weren't limited to the horror genre. Last year, Mikami reiterated this goal in a discussion with Resident Evil Village producer Jun Takeuchi, in which he said, "Something else I want to do is make my own game, to make another game. Right now, we're slowly preparing for that, and to make it work, I get to give all the annoying jobs to someone else to handle." Mikami's Twitter timeline shows he has been busy traveling during his time off, although he's also made time for a few games. Jan Mikami is a legendary producer, a legendary director. I think the idea of him like, hey, let's one more bite at the apple, let's go again, is very exciting. And excuse me, I'm glad that these well-known Japanese creators are getting a chance to be like, I want to control my own destiny and make my own game before I retire for good. That's something I think in the old days, it's like that didn't seem quite possible for whatever reason, whether it was cultural or the investment environment wasn't right for them. I think now things have lined up where it's like it's been proven it's possible. They are well known and they do feel like they can throw their clout around, and they probably can get investment. So I hope he's able to do exactly what he wants to do.
Hey, you know, Shinji Mikami was a designer on the Goof Troop video game. Disney cut the check to Shinji.
Let's go. That's a game that Mike
John
always
Drake,
wants to play with me.
I don't have Shinji Mikami's number, but get his number. Get him on the line. Imagine Vanquished, but it's Goofy and Max.
Okay, now we're talking.
What the yuck?
Just the digital cigarette hanging out of Goofy's mouth. Yeah, let's go. I think that's a beautiful idea. Hey, you're right. Here's the thing. I don't think for a lot of these guys, hey, one more game. I never believe them. I think they'll probably keep doing stuff. I hope he gets to do his game, and then when that's done, I was like there's people waiting in line. Hey, do you want to come help us with this thing? And John Drake should be in that line. Get him to come back and work on some more Disney stuff. That would be great. Those Capcom Disney games are so good. Capcom was probably the best like NES and Super Nintendo developer that wasn't Nintendo, I think. So, man.
I think that's safe to say.
Yeah, Konami's up there. I think I might sometimes like Konami more, but Capcom's just so good.
I think Shinji Mikami is sick as fuck.
Me too. I've always liked Shinji Mikami. That dude's sick as fuck. That's right. You know what? You're an honorary fucko, Shinji Mikami. You heard it here first. All right, let's keep going here. Similar story. Off to the job center, says Kamiya, as he leaves Platinum in a Lamborghini, but he says he's not retiring. This is from Andy Robinson at VGC. Platinum Games' former vice president, Hideki Kamiya, has launched a YouTube channel and said he feels very refreshed after quitting the company he co-founded. Last month, Kamiya announced his shock exit from Platinum after co-founding the company 15 years ago and leading some of its most iconic games in Bayonetta and The Wonderful 101. In a video published on Thursday, Kamiya reiterated that he's not planning to retire from game development, but claimed that he won't be able to take a job in the industry for at least a year, likely due to a non-compete clause. I am Hideki Kamiya, unemployed. Welcome to my channel. I'm out of a job, so please subscribe, he joked. I feel very refreshed after leaving Platinum. I've been watching Netflix, Disney Plus, YouTube, and stuff like that. I've already lost track of what day it is. Oh man, good for you, dude. I haven't been able to work for a while. I think it's been about 3 months since I decided to quit. Once I decided to leave, I had to clean up all these toys and stuff like that. Once I finished cleaning, I was at home with my paid vacation. The reason behind Kamiya's decision to leave Platinum hasn't been made public, and the game designer gives little explanation in his video, beyond hinting that that his views possibly didn't align with the future direction of the company. He said, "How should I put it? There's no way I can put it. You guys understand, right?" That sounds like Kamiya. Another example of like, okay, yeah, I think these guys are feeling emboldened to not stay at these companies for forever if they like want to try to stretch their legs. I think Kamiya has every chance in the world after this non-compete clause period, which obviously Kamiya was just in, to do exactly that and have another couple bites at the apple himself and do something cool. And hey, just like Shinji Mikami, I think Kamiya is very cool.
Very, very cool. You know what? I'd be interested to like learn about a lot of design ethos, or just like how people like Kamiya, Shinji Mikami, Sakurai even approach a project or whatever. Like how design even begins for those types of dudes. Because, you know, following Kojima, you don't learn shit. You don't learn shit from that dude.
Definitely not.
Except he really likes retweeting anything with Daryl Dixon. What's his fucking name?
Mingus Dew, or whatever his name is. God, I can't remember. Mingus Redis is the name of his kid, actually.
My memory is shit today.
Oh yes, same here. God, who's the director of Smash Brothers? His YouTube channel is actually pretty good. Sakurai, right? Thank you. Yeah. His YouTube channel is actually surprisingly informative. I don't. He's not going to like teach you how to code, but he gives you insight into like, here's why we make our design decisions. Here's like the things we've learned. Here's what people do when we present them with certain things. And I hope that that is what Kamiya's channel ends up looking like. And I would follow both of those. But you're right. Like Kojima had that podcast with Jeff Keighley. He might still have it. I have no idea. I listened to a couple episodes, and it was just like, oh, this is just constant. Like, man, how awesome is Kojima? I'm very awesome. And it's like, okay, well, that's good for you. I'm glad that you have that thing, but I'm learning nothing here, so I'm going to stop listening.
Like, I get that sometimes as a creative, as an auteur, you don't want to spill the secret sauce or anything, but like let people know what's going in the sauce. You don't got to tell them the specific measurements or whatever.
Exactly.
Kojima.
Give us some look at it.
I can only see so many photos of you and your celebrity friends.
Yes, exactly. I just assume you're scanning all of them, and I'm sure you are. All right, James Corden's appearance at Activision All Hands sounds like a joke, but it isn't. What? But it kind of is. This is from Nicole Carpenter at Polygon. Days before Microsoft and Activision Blizzard are hoping to tie up its $69 billion merger, nice, the Call of Duty publisher and Overwatch 2 developer brought all of its employees together for an all-hands meeting hosted by former late-night host James Corden. This is according to a report from Windows Central. Yes, the former Late Late Show host, known for terrorizing Los Angeles drivers with musical stunts, appeared alongside Activision Blizzard CEO Bobby Kotick to bring employees up to speed on the state of the company. Why? I guess it's because Kotick and Corden appear to be friendly. The duo were filmed together at Fanatics CEO Michael Rubin's infamous 2023 White Party, which is a terrible name for a party, as seen in a video montage of celebrities at the event. Kotick and Corden's appearance flanked between the Kardashians, NBA athletes, and other big-name celebrities and models. It's possible Kotick thought his employees would be excited for a celebrity appearance at an all-hands meeting. Corden, however, is absolutely a bizarre pick, and this continues to be Nicole Carpenter, although I agree with every word. He doesn't have the best reputation in Hollywood or elsewhere. Corden reportedly asked Kotick how Activision Blizzard will keep its culture, which Kotick described as, quote, magic. Kotick said Microsoft is interested in the company's magic, according to Windows Central. Of course, Activision Blizzard settled a U.S. Equal Employment Opportunity Commission lawsuit in 2021 that alleged sexual harassment and discrimination at the company. A lawsuit between Activision Blizzard and California's Civil Rights Department is ongoing, but that's probably not the magic that Kotick is referring to. I guess also Kotick during this thing teased Guitar Hero returning. This is weird as hell, Jan. What is wrong with CEOs? I mean, I guess I'm not too surprised that Kotick would try something like this. Be like, hey, James Corden, aren't you excited? And most people are like, fuck no, absolutely not. But I don't know. Maybe I'm off base here.
I'm so exhausted. I'm so tired now. Hey, instead of maybe possibly, because what do you think Corden's paycheck was for this?
I think it's probably close to six figures, if not six figures.
I would assume the very same. What about, I don't know, you give a bonus to your employees? What about that?
Yeah, that would.
What about you give them a a bit of fuck you money? Huh?
Give them just a little bit of fuck you money. Yeah, just a tiny
instead
bit.
of fucking James Corden.
It's bizarre. I don't quite get it. I'm trying to think like who could show up at one of our all hands meetings that I would be excited about. Jackie Chan, I think.
But Jackie Chan, he's leaves a little bit to be desired. Biggie, yeah.
You know, Big, well, okay,
the thing
is, yes, 100% Big E.
The thing is, we could probably just wind up in a room with Big E.
Yeah, we could just call Big E ourselves, I think, at this point. So
yeah. Jim Ryan, you're right.
Oh yeah, well, of course, Jim Ryan. Mike once he's like, I don't get the Jim Ryan joke, Jeff. And I'm like, it's not really a joke. It's just a really kind of. It's a funny idea to be a huge fan of Jim Ryan. I think just something about him. It's like it's impossible to be like, who's a big fan of this guy? Well, you're looking at him right here. Love the man.
Jeff Fucko
fucks with Jim Ryan. You heard it here. Oh man, I just clicked back with my mouse on this document I'm looking at to continue the show.
We still have the Peach picture up.
Oh, I could. Well, this was the problem there. Okay, there we go.
Fair enough.
All right, let's go to this next one. Mario's new voice actor potentially revealed via demo data mine. This is from Tom the Machine Ivan at VGC. The new voice of Mario has potentially been revealed following an alleged data mine of a Super Mario Bros. Wonder retail demo. Who the fuck is data mine in the retail demo? An unverified list of voice actors for Wonder first appeared on the 4chan forum on Wednesday and then spread to other social media sites and forums such as Reset Era. Basically, they did a bunch of power deduction here where they're looking at all these names and they're able to okay, this person's definitely doing this. And it was like they were left with these two names and one person has a voice that's very similar to or does a voice in other things similar to the flower in the game. So that person's probably doing that. That leaves us with Mick Wingert, who is best known for doing Tony Stark in in various Marvel cartoons, as well as Zing in the spin-off Kung Fu Panda series. So I don't know if that name means anything to people who follow this stuff. Probably. Apparently, he's done a lot of cartoon work. I guess it's still strange. It's like, okay, you're bringing in a professional voice actor. I suppose you would do that, but he's still just doing what Charles Martinet did, just slightly different. But yeah, I don't know. I guess I don't know what to do with this information, Jan. But I guess I wanted to put it out there.
Yeah. Hey, Andy Cortez has been saying this a lot. That let him voice act. You know what? Also let me voice act.
Oh
folks. Yeah. Put me in whatever game you working on, an indie game. I'll do it. I don't care. Let your boy cook. And by cook, I mean talk in your game. Whatever. I'm just putting it out there.
I want to be putting one too, mostly because I want to work with a voice acting coach, which I suppose.
Crap, I might know a voice acting coach.
Okay.
And he's partially the reason why I've been stupid obsessed with Spider-Man 2. And it's pretty much the guy that goes, "He's just a boy."
Okay, well, let's fucking go then. That sounds like content, Jan. Let's teach Tam how to drive and teach me how to speak. I would like both those things a lot. Yeah, I also Alex Boniello I think would be a good teach me how to project and stuff. So
yeah,
let's make this happen.
Yeah. Friend of the site, Ben Starr.
Yeah, Ben Starr, get in here to give me a few lessons. Hell yeah, that would rule. Hey, Mario Wonder is out in. Is it really out in 8 days? Okay,
that's fucked up. That's so fucked up.
That's crazy. All right, I guess let's go. I'm very excited about that. So we'll see what's happening then. Finally, most important story of the day: Nintendo reveals that Bowser likes them thick. This is from Zach Swisen at Kotaku, who, of course, had that headline. Bowser is attracted to Princess Peach. We didn't need Jack Black singing about it in the massively successful Mario movie to figure that out. However, according to official Nintendo marketing materials, it seems Bowser prefers his princess bigger and thicker. I'm going to play a little video here that the Nintendo posted online yesterday, and I'll describe it for audio listeners. It's Princess Peach and with the Super Mario Brothers Wonder logo over her. She's playing with butterflies, and then she looks over and sees Bowser. Bowser saying, "Hey, you're Princess Peach. I give you one flower." And then the elephant power-up bounces over to her. She looks at it, takes it, turns into Elephant Peach. Bowser's like, "Whoa, what's this?" Reaches behind his back and pulls out a much bigger bouquet because she is bigger and thicker, and that's what Bowser needs. I knew this deep down. I knew this about Bowser, right? This is clearly just the right answer. Bigger and thicker's better.
Also, start giving people flowers.
Yeah, absolutely. Unless they don't want you to give them flowers, in which case, don't do that.
Yeah, I know it's nice to surprise someone with flowers, but also make sure that it's a
know what you're doing.
Surprise.
Know what you're getting into. Don't give them to your waitress. Yeah. How about that? Cut the line there. But otherwise,
don't go to the coffee shop you frequent and give a barista flowers.
Yeah, don't do that. I'd rather you not. But oh man, that's what I was going to open the show talking about the pizzazz and the woozy woos. That's what I wanted to say. But
the pizzazz and the woozy woos.
Pizzazz, get your pizzazz and your woozy woos out, everybody. It's time for Game Mess.
Meet the fuckos.
Time to meet the fuckos. Fucking Christ. All right, Jan. I got a poll question from like 6 days ago. Let me see if I can get that back over here. Where is that? All right. What kind of ride would you want at the Call of Duty theme park? Which is something that I guess they were once considering. This is news from forever ago. Let me frame this up. Okay. The ghillie suit experience got 15% of the vote. Gun got 19% of the vote. Getting yelled at by children simulator got 36% of the vote. And I voted for Nicki Minaj. And it's just Nicki Minaj, and that's 30% of the vote. So I think that's probably correct. And it's, I think she'd be a great attraction there. I would go watch her perform. That'd be fun. Let's see here. I have a new poll question going up in a second. But first, Jan, what do we have happening on the website? I have no idea. I think I looked at the calendar. I think, is it Phasmophobia tomorrow?
Oh, yes. I should have told you this, Grub. We're playing regular programming as per usual on the website. We got voicemail dump truck popping off later today. Grub, I believe more Game S mornings tomorrow.
That's right.
But tomorrow for UPF, we were playing Phasmophobia. I think I wrote it as unprofasma.
Yeah, it took me a second.
Phobia days. Grub, do you think you could set up VR for it?
I was going to say, I'm going to set up VR for it.
All right. I believe on the dock we got Mike as well, and then I guilt tripped Bailey into joining for my birthday week because I'm like, Bailey, you have to.
You have to, Bailey. Come on, it's his birthday week.
And then later today, Jeff Grubb. Get ready. Get your forks out. It's the 4th of July. Nothing bad can happen, everybody. Nothing bad can happen. He spilled Red Bull on his Go XLR.
I think I'm back. We should be back.
Right.
I'm moving it around trying to keep everything from going into the keys. And I think we're okay, but I think the cable came unplugged for a second. I had a little bit of an oopsie whoopsie fucky wucky over here, Jan. Just a little bit of one.
Nothing bad can happen. You fixed it. If folks missed it, I will be on Friday Night Forking tonight.
Oh, I'm so excited for that. I'm so excited.
Yes.
I need to understand exactly what that looks like. So I'm going to be watching every minute because I can't wait. And then anything else? I guess, yeah, we got Game S mornings again tomorrow. So definitely tune in for that. And then otherwise, just hang out. Look at the calendar on twitter.com/giantbomb. We'll tell you what's going on there.
Just hang. We did a Be Like Club yesterday. That was very fun. Go check that out as well. Forking is 2:30 p.m. Eastern time. Oh, no. 5:30. No. 2:30 for me.
Yeah, 5:30 for us. Yeah, so okay, 2:30 Pacific, 5:30 Eastern. That sounds right. Okay, very cool. All right, the new poll question, which we will answer on Game S Mornings on Friday, tomorrow. Who would you give the biggest flower bouquet to? Princess Peach, Elephant Peach, Bowsette, or Waluigi? I think we all know the right answer. So
we should have put Nicki Minaj there.
We should have put Nicki Minaj in there. She would have cleaned it up, I think. So we got to keep it fair. All right, we'll discuss that tomorrow here on Giant Bomb. Jan, thank you so much for hanging out with me as I get back in the swing of things. I really appreciate it, man.
I feel great. The only way to start a Thursday.
And again, happy belated birthday to you, buddy. I really, you're getting older, but you still look just like that young little boy we always loved. Thank you, everybody, for watching. Thank you, everybody, for listening. We'll be back with another episode tomorrow. Until then, have a good one. Take care of yourself, and goodbye.
Woozy woos.
Pizzazz.